sign that I want to replay. You can hit the replay button whenever you want if you find something that's good, or if somebody makes a good play. But if it's like a bang bang play, I'll usually go like that. Usually, my producers and I are on the same page about what's good in that regard. I'll move this so that you can put your laptop a little bit closer there. Or you can move your laptop closer to the center. Like you can put your laptop, you can slide it in here.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Push this back. I have to remember which headset is mine. No umpires yet. Oh, there they are. There they are. No John. Two people. Well, much towards John. This is quiet.
If you fish the headset underneath,
I'm just gonna unplug it.
that'll do it too.
Yeah, that's yours. Hold on, I haven't plugged yours in yet.
All right, there we go. Now I can hear
Yeah,
you.
I gotcha. Just a little bit louder, and we're good. All right, we're up on YouTube. I'm gonna turn myself down a little bit.
Okay. Why does this guy have no pitching stats?
Hold on. Go back to his page.
Okay.
It should. Hold on. Why does it not say that he has any pitching stats? Is this his first start of the year? I wonder if it's Welsher's first appearance. That might be why. I'll just roll with it. Whenever you're ready, start the intro. They're doing all that now.
All right, we're rolling on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And we are rolling the intro.
Here's a fly ball out towards center field. This one's going back, and this one is gone! Taylor gets this one out towards center field to the short part, and it's a grand slam! That's a floater, out to short. And it's booted off the shortstop's glove! Just like they drew it from Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons! Grant Fournier, two-run shot to right.
4, 3, 2.
We welcome you to the Runnymede Babe Ruth Complex, right off of the Black Horse Pike, as we've got Tri-County North Division action between the Roughriders, based out of Haddonfield, but with for all intents and purposes, no location included in their official title. It's the South Jersey Grizzlies as their opponents tonight here in Runnymede. It's the left-hander Danny Robeson versus the right-hander 2012 grad of Audubon, two-time state champion Zach Welsher. This should be a good matchup tonight between, kind of a rookie and a little bit of a veteran. I mean, Robeson, he's a rising junior at Rutgers Camden, and this is going to be a good battle between those seasoned vets and the younger college kids who make up a vast majority of the Tri-County League. But the Roughriders they've always been unique in that way. But what's more important tonight is that first place is on the line in the North Division. The Roughriders are 6-3-1. They come in with 14.5 points. Meanwhile, the Grizzlies at 5-5-1 are only 1 point behind. Separating them is Cherry Hill third base, which is at 14 points and an overall record of 6-4-0. We'll flip it over to the main board here as, again, Danny Robeson, the starting pitcher for the South Jersey Grizzlies tonight. The Grizzlies have lost 3 in a row. However, they are looking to get on the mend here as, again, with Robeson being the starter, it's never easy to predict with games like this. It recently rained just a couple of hours ago going into the start, but he's got 8 innings this year, 4 walks, 14 Ks, hasn't allowed any earned runs, but a 143 batting average against and a flat whip of 1 brings us into this Monday evening contest, leading the things off with McDaniel product, Shane Daly, leading off in center field.
And a big game here between both of these teams. First place on the line, a lot to play for here in the regular season.
Robeson's first pitch, and at 6:10 on the dot, we are underway with a fastball high and out, 1-0.
And as you talked about, Robeson only has the 2 appearances on the year, 8 innings pitched, no earned runs given up, and a whip of 1.
Takes a fastball away, 2-0. We've watched Robeson pitch at Rutgers Camden. Saw him back in March of 24 in a doubleheader versus Rosemont College. Did very well, pitched 6 shutout innings in the win. 2-0 fouled back by Daly. You can see Daly donning the McDaniel University hat. This is a good breeding ground for a lot of great college players here in the Tri-County League, and McDaniel University is one of those universities that just brings so many great talents out of South Jersey. The McKenna brothers being one of them, Shane Daly being another one, and of course hitting next in the order after him will be Shea McKenna. His younger brother Cole is on the team as well. Both of them West Deptford grads, not too far down the road. Got a 2-2 count to the center fielder Daly. Robeson taking his time. Gets the sign. Left-hander delivers. Swing and a miss. He got him. Daly goes down on strikes in a hard-fought at-bat, and now the right-hander Shea McKenna will bat. Let's take a look at the Rough Riders starting lineup presented to you by Harper Driving School. For the Roughs tonight, led by first-year manager Noah Clement, their starting lineup will consist of Shane Daly in center, Shea McKenna at second base. You've got Ryan Joseph in right, Evan Carbone behind the dish, Jake Otero at first, Alex Tronoski at third, Vincent Panvini at short, Zach Welcher the pitcher, and Julian Butler Galliera in left field. Shea McKenna manning second base today at the 1-0 count. A .444 hitter this year. It's a small sample size, but he is 8 for 18. 3 RBIs, a .966 OPS. Swing and a miss that time, 1-1. So with Daly going down on strikes, you've got a 1-2-3 punch of Daly, McKenna, and Joseph. 2 McDaniel products, and of course Joseph out of Rutgers Camden. The man next to him in the order, Evan Carbone, is also a Rutgers Camden product, under the leadership of Coach Ryan Kulik. He's been at the helm since 2021 after Dennis Barth left the program to go coach at Gloucester Catholic, where he still holds the position today. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. The ball does get behind the catcher. It rebounds off the backstop, and the throw to first gets away. It skips off of the first baseman, and it will be Robeson's second strikeout. However, it will give the Rough Riders their first runner of the ball game. Here in the top of the first as Ryan Joseph grabs the bat, the right fielder. Interesting situation there with McKenna getting down to first. I mean, it's a very short backstop here. You wouldn't expect a lot of drop third strikes to pass by. It's not like Burlington Township or anything like that. But in this situation, the situation arose, and they took advantage of it.
And an error that seemed preventable there. Robeson doing a nice job out on the bump, has a pair of strikeouts, but now the runner advances on the error by the backstop.
Well, you have to remember that even though we call it an error, it actually doesn't count as an error unless, you want to call it an E3 down at first base for the missed throw. It technically would be called a strikeout wild pitch. However, I don't know how the home score would go about that. It's 1-0 to the right fielder, Joseph. Fouled back to the right side. This is a little bit of an interesting scenario here. This is almost like a Rutgers Camden inner squad. You've got multiple players from the Scarlet Raptors on both teams. Joseph and Carbone for the Roughriders. And then on the right side, you've got Robeson, but then you've also got Sean Taylor out there as well. Strike called.
The starter today for the Grizzlies, Robeson, doing a very nice job with the fastball, throwing hard as a left-hander. He's really trying to work these Rough Rider hitters away, facing a couple right-handers early in this game.
Well, he does have a lefty in the on-deck circle in Carbone as Joseph hits this one in the air to left field. It's up there, going back, and it is caught in straightaway left for the second out. So Carbone will bat now. 2 away. I mean, that's what I like about Danny Robeson, is that he really commands a zipping fastball very well. And for a left-handed thrower like that, a left-handed arm like that, that is worth their weight in gold. You know, if a right-hander had the same metrics and command that Robeson did, it would be impressive. But for a left-hander to do it, that makes them all the more valuable, especially in college and professional baseball. We talk about it all the time. As here's the first pitch. That one skips away from the catcher, Ficchetti. Joey Ficchetti behind the dish for the Grizzlies today. It does move the runner McKenna into scoring position with 2 away.
I like the Rough Riders trying to be aggressive, and it pays off for them right there as McKenna easily steals the bag as it got to the backstop, but he puts himself in scoring position.
Fastball over to plate, called for a strike, 1-1.
And again, Robeson, even now facing a left-handed hitter in Carbone, still working the outside corner with the fastball. Something to keep an eye on as this game goes along.
And if he can keep that consistent, that's always going to be an excellent help for Robeson. When we were here on, actually, so funny story. This is our 3rd Tri-County game of the year. When we re-signed with Tri-County for our 3rd season with them, we had agreed to 10 games, and we are in the second to last week of the regular season, and we are in game number 3. That's how badly rain has shaken up our plans. But either way, I believe Robeson was the starter when we saw them last time out, and he did pretty well. It was an 8-0 win for the Grizzlies in a game that was called after 5 innings due to darkness. That is a possibility today. We started at 6:10, started on time, but if the game runs a little bit long, could end up being an issue. That one's fouled back by Carbone. Runner went on contact, or he went on the throw. Count remains 2-2 to Carbone. Next in line would be the number 5 hitter, Jake Otero.
And it looked like McKenna was going, regardless of the contact or not, trying to steal third base and put himself 90 feet away from being the first run of the game.
Yeah, on a 3-2 count, you would expect that, but a little surprised on a 2-2. He holds this time, and Carbone lifts this one out to left, but foul. Oh, that one just hit a car. That hit a car that was in motion, a nice Explorer as well. Oof.
And the parking here in Runnymede is a little tight, and you can see the Explorer right there. Pretty sure that driver didn't expect a foul ball to come her way.
Looks like no cracks on the windshield, though. Oh, no, there's a... I think I see a little crack right there. That's something. We got the 2-2. Carbone over the middle out to second base. Picked up, bobbled at second. Couldn't hang on to it. Tough play, but I think Viola's going to get charged with an E4 that time. It puts McKenna on third. And Carbone will reach on a 2-out miscue there, as it looked like a relatively normal play. The taller infield grass might have made it difficult, but with that all said, it does move the runners to the corners. Now for Jake Otero, the first baseman hitting in the 5 slot here tonight.
Yeah, slow chopper with high grass, doesn't mesh well, and a tough play out there on second base. And it looks like we're going to get a courtesy runner, Ryan Joseph, entering the game, going back to first base. But certainly not an easy play, and now 2 defensive mishaps here by the Grizzlies allow for 2 base runners. And with 2 gone, the Rough Riders still trying to scratch across an early run in the top of the first.
Well, when you have a 3-game losing streak on your back, it's not like a 162 Major League season where 3 games basically means nothing. 3 games is basically 15% of your season. Pop-Up's caught it first, but either way, though, we are through a half frame. Rough Riders leave 2 runners aboard. We'll go to the bottom of the first with the Grizzlies getting their first chance to bat with the first 3, Templeton, Viola, and Palumbo. We'll be right back.
Clear.
Okay.
Do they have I know, so for the minor leagues, they have the rule where if you get through 5 and it's an official game, is that the same here? Because, I mean, if they played 5 and then they called it due to darkness.
Well, because they play 7, that's why.
Okay, that makes sense.
So because they play 7, I think it might even be after 4 it's official. It's definitely a little bit earlier. Okay, our mics are on. We gotta fix that. And welcome back here in the bottom of the first. Templeton leads us off for the Grizzlies. Let's take a look at their starting lineup presented by Harper Driving School. For the Grizzlies this evening, Templeton leads off at the DH, Mateo Viola at second base, A.J. Palumbo at third. Tied for the home run lead in the Tri-County Summer League, Zach Morales is in right. Cody Brown is at first, Cole Ambrosius in the EH, Keegan Spraggins of Triton Regional in center, Sean Taylor of PVI at short, Hunter Cohen in left, and Joey Facchetti is the catcher. The first pitch is skied out to third. Look out. Lands in the street. Is it going to hit that Explorer again? Oh! How about that for a cue shot? It landed right in between the hood opening and the glass of that Honda out there. So we've seen 2 forms of entertainment tonight. We've seen baseball and we've seen almost like a vehicle whack-a-mole out there in the bottom of the first inning. 0-1 is popped up again. This time it'll stay in play. Look out, Otero and Carbone nearly tangle, but Otero makes the catch for the first out. It is a little bit difficult here, especially with there's not a lot of foul ground to run. Once you get out in right field, there's more, but out in left field and behind the plate, there is not a lot of room. We are, for what it's worth, in terms of baseball venues that we've covered, we are closer to the action than 99% of them.
Yeah, we are right behind home plate here in Runnymede. And I think the only reason that right field has a little bit more space is because there's no fence going down the right field line, because there looks like to be another field right down the line.
Yeah, I think there's like a Little League field, which is where you see that yellow out there. Zach Welcher is the starting pitcher for the Rough Riders this evening. As far as we're concerned, when we looked at the stats, this is his first start of the year. That one's lined. Diving stop, couldn't get there. It's a base hit in the right field. And Viola gets a base hit. It's the Grizzlies' first hit of the day and the first hit from either side, as Palumbo will be the batter now. But a pop out to the first baseman and then a single to right. And we've got movement from the Grizzlies in the bottom half. Welsher, a 2012 grad of my alma mater, Audubon, won their two most recent state titles in 2011 and 2012 as a part of the 8 that Audubon has had over their history. So even though he's 13 years removed from the halls of the green and gold, still get to see him throw out there today. He was a very, very dominant pitcher back when he played in high school. And that's the thing about the Tri-County Summer League. It's when you watch like the Cape Cod League or the MLB Draft League, even Logan Dawson out of Eastern played for the Trenton Thunder this year in the MLB Draft League. It is all college guys or high school graduates. This is a little bit more open book, if you will. You've got Zach Welsher, a 2012 grad of Audubon. You have a guy, Chris Rollins, who for the past 5 or so years has led the league in pretty much every pitching category in the Tri-County League. He's a 2005 former draft pick by the Chicago Cubs. Played professionally briefly, even pitched for the Camden River Sharks before they closed. And then he's 38, 39 years old now, and he's still striking out these college hitters like there's nothing left with Cherry Hill Pittman. But either way, you know, there's a lot of characters in this league, and I don't mean characters in a snobby way. I mean characters as in, you know, you recognize them when they step out onto the field, that they are unique, and it's what makes this league unique. It's so interesting to see all of the different faces come together for a couple of months during the summer. It's going to be a 3-0 count here to Palumbo.
Oh, and I think that this Roughriders team exemplifies that perfect storm in the sense you've got a lot of guys playing right at a high school or at the collegiate level, and then they have a few guys that are far removed but still come in, and Welsher being one of them up on the bump today.
Got a strike called, 3-1. Gets back into the count that time versus Palumbo. He's got the right fielder, Zach Morales, on deck.
And Palumbo is a player who's having a terrific year, hitting .500, 10 for 20 on the season, and 7 RBIs, 2 home runs, and also a pair of stolen bases.
And he comes out of CCBC Catonsville, one of the community colleges in Baltimore County in Maryland. They've got some great programs over there, and they also pretty heavily recruit South Jersey talent. Speaking of my alma mater, former Audubon grads Sean Driscoll and John Perozzi went there for their first 2 years, and then Sean Driscoll recently committed to Barry University in Gulf Shores, Florida. And there's a reason why he went to Barry, because their head coach is also from South Jersey, who was formerly at Charleston Southern. Aiden Huey out of Pittman, who graduated from Salem Community College. He went there. We're going to have a quick meeting between Welsher and Carbone. So you've got 2 on here, 1 away. It's a relatively low-stakes situation, but with the Grizzlies having lost 3 straight, and you've got the league's maybe most powerful home run hitter that we've seen this year and the past 2 or 3 years with Tri-County, you've got this guy at the plate. What's the approach?
Well, I think that out in the field right now, you just have to be looking to try and roll up a ground ball. As there's a check swing for a strike.
That might be the most powerful check swing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with you. But going up against the big power hitter, you want to try and, you know, mix up your looks and locate with different pitches, keep the hitter guessing up at the plate.
He hit a ground rule double when we saw the Grizzlies a few weeks ago. That one's going to be sliding into third safely, and it moves both runners up. So we've got runners on second and third here as Viola moves up 90 feet, and so does Palumbo.
Now I think the approach changes a little bit, because you were looking there, if you're Welsher, for a double play ball. You got first and second, 1 out, a ground ball up the middle gets you out of the inning. And he has a talented middle infield that knows a thing or two about turning double plays. But now a ball hit to the outfield, even a sac fly scores a run, and if it gets down for a hit, potentially scores 2. Have to be looking for a strikeout here in a big spot early.
1-1. Outside. When we first saw the South Jersey Grizzlies in our first year with the Tri-County League. We saw them in a playoff game in July of 2023. And it was right here with versus Cinnaminson. Morales hit a home run right our way in a 6-3 win. That one's a fly ball. Out to straightaway left field. Joseph is there. Runner will tag. Here comes the runner in to score, and he will. Viola comes in, and it's 1-0 Grizzlies in the bottom of the first. As with Zach Morales, considering he's a .423 hitter, he only has 2 home runs this year, but he has been year over year one of the most powerful hitters in the Tri-County Baseball League. Even though his numbers haven't reflected that this year, he still drives in a run, and he makes it 1-0 Grizzlies. Here with the left-hander and the number 5 hitter for the Grizzlies coming up now, Cody Brown. First pitch from Welsher is at the knees for a strike.
And an excellent job there by the Grizzlies. Again, didn't need the biggest swing in the world. The sac fly gets the job done, and they're on the board first here in the bottom of the first inning. A good way to start the game.
Yeah, in a field like this, you don't need to do anything fancy, as we've got a pop-up third base side going over and out of play by a hair over towards the third base side, and it's 0-2. Got 2 outs in the bottom half of the first with Cody Brown. Cole Ambrosius would be next if the inning continues. But we have a 1-0 lead. We saw Templeton pop out to first. Viola had a base hit back out to the right side. Palumbo walked. And again, Morales powered a sac fly to left. And now you've got Brown. He'll be followed by Ambrosius and then Spraggins. But again, that is if the inning continues. I mean, listen, when we were here 2 weeks ago, Grizzlies scored 3 runs in the first inning off of the Vineland starter. That one is roped foul and into the parking lot. 0-2 still. Brown fouling off a couple of pitches. He thought the first pitch was low in the zone there, but he'll be fighting back here, getting a lot of fastballs in the at-bat.
And if you're Welsh, you're up 0-2 in the count, have a base open over at first. You really want to try and miss out of the zone and get Brown to chase. Don't want to leave anything over the heart of the plate where he can do some damage.
Especially with the left-hander. That one's a ground ball and a return to sender as Welsher underhand flips to first, and it's in time to retire the side. Grizzlies get 1 on a sac fly to left by Holy Family's Zach Morales. And the Roughriders, despite leaving 2 on in the top of the first, will look for their first hit in the second. We'll be right back. Top of the second inning, we lead off with the Roughriders versus Danny Robeson. This broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. Over 90% of students who take their New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on the first attempt. If you like those odds, you can book an appointment today at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman, 614 Lambs Road. That one misses inside. So I thought I needed to correct myself earlier because I was talking about Zach Morales being a home run leader, but indeed, there is a 4-way tie for first, all with 2. I think that's a reflection of how much the rain has affected our scheduling this year. I mean, we are in the second to last week of the regular season, and there are some teams who haven't even played their 10th game yet. There's a line drive back up the middle. That's a base hit. It's going to bounce off of the second baseman. I think the grass stopped that ball so quickly that it almost got taken in by Mateo Viola, but it will be a base hit nonetheless for Trinoski.
Well, heads up, if you're Robeson out on the mound, was a hard line drive ground ball, and then it bounced either off the bag or one of the players into shallow right center field. Nevertheless, the hitter stays at first base with a leadoff single.
And now here's Panvini. First pitch misses low. So there's a four-way tie for first. Two of the batters are with the Grizzlies, and two of the batters are with Cherry Hill Pittman. Montana Millward and Rafael Rogers both have two for CHP, and then the 3-4 tandem in the Grizzlies order, Palumbo and Morales, both have two. Everybody else has one or fewer. Even Cole Ambrosius for the Grizzlies has one this season. Oh, look out. That one's up and in. As somebody who did not play high school baseball, with somebody who throws as quickly in the high 80s, low 90s as Robeson, especially from a relatively flat mound like the one here at Runnymede, I think of the fact that I could have never taken a 90-mile-an-hour fastball if I played high school. That's going to be a double play. Round the horn. Got that one to go for two. And now Welsher will be the batter. And that will be a 6-4-3 double play against the Roughriders. Now the pitcher Welsher hits in the ace spot. He'll be followed by Haddonfield's Julian Butler Galliera. Plenty of names that we've recognized from our high school coverage. Butler Galliera being one of them. And of course, Shea McKenna, Evan Carbone, Ryan Joseph. Plenty of names on both sides to write home about. Here's the pitcher, Welsher. Standing really far in the back of the box. He's got a strike called.
Well, and about four of the guys on the Roughriders, I think three of them are in the lineup today that I can say I shared the diamond with, which is pretty cool, seeing some old faces that I haven't seen in quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot more playing experience than I ever did, so it's different for me as a broadcaster. I've done 500, 600 broadcasts at this point, and I have barely shared the field with almost anybody on the team. Some of the only players that I can say that I've shared the field with were some of the guys I played Little League with in Audubon, and some of the guys that played with Haddon Heights, Timmy Shell, Drew Harris, Drew Costello. I played fall ball with them for a couple of years, but that was about it. I stopped playing when I was 13, and then I put on a headset and I never looked back. But we've got an 0-2 count with two away. Base is empty after the double play by Panvini. And what's outside, Robeson. I don't know if that was a chase pitch or if he just missed his mark, but either way, Welsher held up.
And that double play was pretty impressive. I mean, the first baseman making a nice stretching pick to complete the 6-4-3 double play, and now just a strike away from getting out.
Misses low. And that's not easy on a field like this either. I mean, not only is the dirt a little bit rougher, it also rained earlier today, and it rained right up until 20 minutes before first pitch. So, I mean, we had our rain gear out and everything. We were prepared for it, but it's going to miss low, 3-2 here. But either way, you know, Cody Brown, he really had to dig his cleat in when he got that scoop at first, because otherwise he wouldn't have had an easy time at all getting that foot down and getting the double play on the hop. Got a 3-2 count here. Roughriders looking for their second base runner of the inning. And Welsher, for what it's worth, doing a good job of staying alive in the at-bat.
Yeah, he certainly is really working the count here. Was down 0-2 early, seeing a couple pitches out of the zone and fouling a few off to stay alive in this at-bat. Really quality at-bat here for the Roughriders pitcher.
This will be pitch number 7 from the left-hander. And he gets ball 4. Welsher started to walk back to the dugout, and Robeson seemed to disagree. I thought it was a little bit off. I thought it was just a little bit off the plate. So a close call, but I think it was the right one. And now Julian Butler Galliera will be the batter. They're going to have a courtesy runner for Welsher, the pitcher. We'll see who pops up out of the dugout.
Well, and the home plate umpire has the best view in the house.
Right.
And I think Welsher also thought it was strike 3. He started walking
Yeah,
back to the
I saw
dugout,
he
but
dropped his bat. I thought he thought it was strike 3.
looked like he cracked a little smile towards the dugout. But regardless, now the Rough Riders get another base runner on, and Julian Butler-Galliera will dig into the box now.
So here's, Butler-Galliera, Haddonfield grad of 2024. Haddonfield really had a renaissance year in 2025 with Justin Singleton, their best season in years. I mean, they were ranked somewhere in the top 10 to 15 in all of New Jersey throughout the 2025 season, especially in the second half. They made it all the way to the Diamond Classic finals, falling to Mainland in the championship game at Alcyon Park. But either way, still a huge rebound for them. Not that they had been doing poorly, but it seemed like they were kind of treading water. And now Justin Singleton comes in. He's got a new, he's got a new groove. He's got a new jive. He's got a new group of players that are in the order, and they find a lot of success. That one is low. Throw down to second is not in time. Count will be 2-1 now with the runner, the courtesy runner being Panvini, going in the scoring position here. So Butler-Galliera, he'll be followed by Shane Daly if the inning continues.
And Butler-Galliera is one of those guys that I've had the privilege of playing with and against.
Twice a year, in fact, when Sterling was in the same division as Haddonfield.
And we played a couple of club games together when we were about 15, 16 years old, and just a tremendous teammate, a tremendous athlete. I can't say enough good things about JBG.
2-2 fouled back. At bat stays alive for Butler-Galliera. We're having a conversation with Noah Clement, the field manager for the Rough Riders. He takes over for Thomas Gasse, who left the program in 2024 at season's end to take a position as the bullpen catcher for the Reading Fightin' Phils, the AA affiliate of the Phillies. Still has a big presence here in South Jersey, though, with his organizations, but Galliera gets the foul tip to go into the glove of Facchetti, and the inning is over. Rough Riders leave a runner in scoring position, and that's all she wrote after 1.5 here in Runnymede, 1-0 Grizzlies.
So after the holding call to be 1st and 20, as now rolling out to the right side, he's got a little bit of room to run on a QB rush. He's going to get a first down. There's no flags, and how about this for 61 yards? Anthony Gaetano with a QB rush that works to perfection. He hugs the sideline, and Anthony Gaetano gets the scoring started for the Redhawks at 7-6.
Bottom of the second inning, Cole Ambrosius leads us off for the Grizzlies. In the bottom of the first, he's got a home run this season. Again, tied with about maybe 30 other players. I mean, last year there was a very distinct home run race with Zach Morales and all the other people from Cherry Hill Pittman and CHBR. You know, Sean Sesdewicki. That ball's hit out to center field. It's hit well. Going back, hard to tell with the black fence the dimensions of this field, especially behind the plate. When we were in the outfield 2 years ago, it was different, but here it's not as concrete where the wall is, and without there being a warning track, it is a little bit difficult to decipher. We've got Keegan Spraggins, the center fielder now, as Ambrosius flew out to center. Spraggins with our player of the game with a 3-hit performance. Again, a few weeks ago when the Grizzlies shut out the Gardens 8-0. That ball smoked out to left. It's up there. Back goes Joseph. Back goes JBG. And the Grizzlies give a little bit of ribbon to their center fielder as Spraggins hits a very long single out to left.
Well, that ball was smoked by Spraggins, went off the wall out in left field. And that wall is the tallest part of the yard. It looks like the fence goes all the way around. It's tough to tell, as you said, with the black fence. But
if we were in the outfield, we'd be able to tell a lot more. But on the camera, you can barely even see the fence. It looks like it just goes out in right field to a Field of Dreams style shrubbery. But this is Sean Taylor.
But it looks like
the 8 spot.
Spraggins tripped and fell around first base and then had to revert back for, as you said.
And had to hear it from his teammates.
Yes, he did.
Here's the 0-1 from Welsher. Fastball misses low, and on the jump with Spraggins, he gets down to second base, maybe making up for lost time. And it's 1-1.
That's
Sean
a good
Taylor.
Good dirt ball read there by Spraggins as it kicks away from the catcher, and he puts himself into scoring position as the Grizzlies look to tack on and add another run here in the bottom of the second.
Sean Taylor had one of the most memorable moments of the 2024 baseball season. He's a recent 2025 grad of PVI. As 1-1, swing and a miss. But I remember the 2024 season, we did the first round of South Jersey non-public B playoffs. It was PVI versus Pingree. PVI, I believe, was the 8 seed that year, and Pingree was the 9. And the game was, I believe, Pingree was up 4-2. And PVI started to get some runs going, and Pingree's pitcher had gotten upset over a lot of calls, and their catcher had gotten equally upset over a lot of calls. But it basically boiled down to a staring match, and the bench is nearly clearing, followed immediately by a Sean Taylor grand slam to put the game away. PVI scored 11 runs in that game in the bottom of the 6th inning alone and won the game 13-4, moving on to eventually fall to Red Bank Catholic in the second round. But with Taylor going down on strikes, that's history, and Hunter Cohen is the batter in the 9th slot. Grizzlies hitting 10 today. Joey Fichetti still in his catcher's gear in case he is not needed. I mean, we saw earlier Evan Carbone was courtesy run for, and he still needed a couple of minutes to get out to the diamond. That's why I don't mind the courtesy runner rule in high school. I honestly don't like it being used for pitchers, with all honesty, because they don't switch out anything. You get a glove, a cap, and a ball, and you're good. The catchers, they have a lot more equipment to work with, and a lot more that you've got to buckle in, and you've got to prepare for everything. So that's why he's hit. Every catcher I see hits in the on-deck circle with 2 outs with that gear on. Because if you don't, you're basically playing yourself for a fool. But we've got a 3-0 count here. Welsher gets a strike called, 3-1. But Cohen, again, to be followed by Fichetti if the inning continues. Grizzlies up 1-0. They've got a runner in scoring position in Spraggins, who singled to left and advanced to second on a wild pitch. Welsher looking to keep the score where it is. He's got a 3-1, grounded, out to short, a high chopper. And the throw to first is in time for Otero. Side retired. We're through 2 in Runnymede. It's a cloudy day, but definitely lots of color in the bats today for the Grizzlies. They're up 1-0, and they've left a couple of runners on after 2 here at RYAA. top of the third here in Runnymede. We go back to the top of the card for the Roughriders. They've got one hit today, no runs. They had 2 runners on in the first inning. McKenna and Carbone both reached, one on a dropped third strike, another on an error, but no runs for them today so far versus the left-hander Danny Robeson. First pitch, the swing and a miss. 0-1.
And now the second time through the order here, we'll have to see how Robeson mixes up his pitches. The first time around, he went with that fastball a lot outside. We'll have to see how it changes.
A big hack by Daly that time. He fouls it back. Seemed a little bit more crouched in his swing that time. Stayed low on the 0-1 swing. Got a fastball, but just got under it. Fouled back again by Daly. Again, Daly out of McDaniel College. I believe in Maryland, somewhere down there. He's batting .357 this year, and he pops this one up foul. It's 5 for 14. 1 RBI, 2 extra base hits, .928 OPS. I mean, we talk about how much the rain has affected the Tri-County League as a whole this season. We've got an 0-2 here. That one skips in. Camden has only played 9 games. They're 4-3-2. They've had 2 ties all on the road at fields that don't have lights or fields that have been held up due to curfew. Cherry Hill Pittman has only played 9. They're at 9-2, as there's a swing and a miss. Robeson picks up his 3rd strikeout of the night. And now Shea McKenna will be the batter. Blackwood has played 12. They're 1-10-1. Vineland has only played 9. But then you've got other teams like Burlington Township, Cinnaminson, and the Pine Barrens, who were all a former part of the RVL North Division before they consolidated this season. And they've all played 13 each. So normally it's an 18-game season in Tri-County. I remember 2 years ago, Vineland went 17-1 in the regular season. However, in this case, remember, we've only got 2 weeks left in the regular season. So I don't know what the plan will be, because if you look on your radars, there's more rain coming in the next couple of days. Whether it's enough to cancel more games, I don't know. Whether they'll kind of have a prorated season, a regular season because of it, I'm not sure. I'm not the one who makes those calls, and I'm not the one that wants to speculate on those calls. But it will be interesting to see how this league manages the onslaught of rain that has been there this year. And it's a 1-2 count to McKenna. And it's not even that it's rained all that hard or all that often. It's that it's rained in the right time to where when it rains, it's raining at night, enough to cancel the games, and it's raining hard enough to where the fields are unplayable. So it's been an interesting conundrum to manage this year for the TCBL. Not one of their own doing, just bad circumstances. Back-to-back curveballs by Robeson that time. That's his 2nd strikeout of the inning. He's got 4 total tonight. We go back to the 3-hitter in Ryan Joseph, the right fielder, who will take his place with 2 outs in the top of the 3rd.
And we talked about how Robeson had really been using that fastball the first time through the order to retire hitters. You saw right there in the at-bat against McKenna, went with the breaker twice and got him to swing and miss. We'll have to see if that's his put-away pitch the second time through the order here against the Roughriders.
First pitch to Joseph is a fastball in the outside corner called a strike, 0-1. I mean, what's interesting when we talk about Danny Robeson is that he's one of those pitchers that when he changes his repertoire, he doesn't do it mid-at-bat. He does it over the course of a game. There's certain pitchers that are short-term pitchers and long-term pitchers where they'll run relatively the same plan. Fastball, curveball, or fastball, changeup, curveball. You basically know what you're going to get, but the question is velocity and location. As there's a 3-pitch strikeout that time, Joseph will be tagged out, and the inning is over. We'll return to that point in the bottom half, as how about that for Danny Robeson? He's got 5 Ks, and he struck out the side. Grizzlies looking to add on to a 1-0 lead after 2.5 frames. Bottom of the third, Joey Ficchetti leads us off for the Grizzlies. 10-9-1, Ficchetti, Templeton, and Viola in the bottom of the third. This broadcast is brought to you by DAWG Pro Wrestling, the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators. Appeal at First says no. South Jersey's premier pro wrestling organization with high-flying events and nonstop entertainment throughout the Garden State. You can visit online for ticketing and more information on future events at dawgprowrestling.com. 1-0 count from Welsher. Ficchetti gets on top of it, keeps it fair over to third base bag. Home plate umpire signals so, and the throw to first is in time, out number 1. Close call down there at first, but it was kind of a double close call because that ball barely stayed fair over to third base bag. So kind of a bang-bang right there. Difficult play at third for the man at the hot corner for the Roughriders, but even more difficult getting that ball to stay fair and then throwing across the body, across the diamond to get the first out.
Oh, and how about the pick by the first baseman to make that play? A low throw, but he scoops it out of the dirt and holds on to complete the 5-3 putout. Excellent defensive play all around.
Indeed. Templeton is a batter. Popped out to first his first time. Don't forget, on Friday, July 18th, we travel up to Burlington County in East Hampton for Central Jersey's premier premier high school soccer evaluation and showcase at the Breakthrough Soccer Showcase in East Hampton. Events start at 2 p.m. on Friday, July 18th, and will run all throughout the night at the Life Center complex, which is where the Life Center Academy plays their home games. It's a beautiful bunch of turf fields out there. We'll be there all day. Big thanks to Justin Faust, head coach at Northern Burlington boys soccer. We'll get to see some great clubs up there, like the clubs representing Shawnee, Delran, Steiner, West Windsor, and a whole lot of other programs all throughout Central and South Jersey. It's a 4-pitch walk to Templeton, and we've got a base runner with one away. I always like those kinds of at-bats, the ones where those balls were relatively close to the zone, but Templeton never felt eager or tempted to swing. He kept the bat on his shoulders, and I think he was waiting for a strike. If he didn't get a strike, he gets a 4-pitch walk, but if he did in that at-bat, he probably would have started swinging again. It is the second walk allowed by Robeson. Palumbo got a free pass earlier. Check that by Welsher. Palumbo got a free pass in the first inning, which helped lead to Morales driving in the first and, to this point, only run in the game. The 1-0, a bunt that is missed by Viola. It's 1-1. It is a little bit refreshing to have a Tri-County game that's closer in score. We've just had bad luck the last two games that we did. We saw Washington Township beat the Pine Barrens 11-3, and then we saw the Grizzlies beat the Gartons 8-0 just before I left for vacation, if you want to call St. Louis and Kansas City a vacation. 1 and 2. It's not like I went to, Bermuda like Vincent did, but we were talking to Vincent, for those who don't know, he's one of our best longtime DWB guys, Vincent Folk. I was talking about, when he's going to be around because he's going on a cruise, and he said, where are you going? I said, St. Louis. I said, where are you going? Bermuda. Same thing. Both have influences from the French.
Well, they're both certainly getaways from the South Jersey area, that's for sure. I think
it was actually hotter in St. Louis. First day that we got to St. Louis, it was 95 degrees. And a 95 degrees out in the Midwest is a lot hotter than a 95 degrees here, believe it or not. Scoreboard read 2-2. Umpire says 1-2, and they'll fix it accordingly. Facing the left-hander Viola, Welsher looks over at first with a runner on. And the 1-2 from the stretch. Looks like a sinker ball that time outside, 2-2.
And it just feels like in this game, the Roughriders are right in it. They just have to try and get their bats rolling a little bit. And for the Grizzlies, they've gotten on thanks to a couple of defensive mistakes and scored on the sac fly back in the first. And since then, still trying to get back on the board.
Viola pops this one up out towards the third base side and out of play. Oh, look out. That car backed up right into the foul ball. If he had moved forward, he would have been fine. But That's what we call a judgment play right there.
Yeah, just unfortunately for that
That's
driver.
three. That's 4 cars that have been hit with fouls today.
Unfortunately for that driver, like you said, if he stayed put or moved forward, he would have been okay, but was trying to back out of the spot as the foul ball was coming. He just backed up right into the perfect spot to get plunked with it.
And the 2-2 fouled off again. Jake, this might be headed your way. Oh. No. Went right over it.
Looks like I got
I
spared there.
I heard you hold your breath. This is what's great about the Tri-County Baseball League. For those who don't know, Jake Clark, he works at Rowan University, and he's done professional games for the Delaware Bluecoats and the Wilmington Blue Rocks. However, on this Monday night, we are now doing color commentary of foul balls hitting vehicles on the side of the road. This is peak baseball, ladies and gentlemen. 2-2 popped up, back over our heads again. Oh! That actually dented the lid of that Explorer.
Well,
I think that's a cop car, too.
I'd rather a dented lid than a broken windshield,
Yeah.
which it was a couple inches away from being.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, the parking lot here is certainly tight, and it's unfortunate, but all of these foul balls by the hitter have gone back towards where a lot of the parking is.
Yeah.
If he's hitting them the other way, I don't think there's a lot of cars parked behind the first base dugout.
That's the incentive to put the ball in play. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. Viola goes down on strikes. That's the second strikeout for Welsher tonight.
And that's a big strikeout for Welsher to try and get things back on track. Had a pretty solid outing to this point, only the 1 run back in the first, but he's pitched pretty well, and I think his defense, a couple of mishaps allowed for that 1 run to come in to score, but a strikeout to try and get everything back on track will certainly help your own cause out on the bump.
Yeah, well, the defense has been mostly fine for the Roughriders. They haven't really had too many blips in the day. Just the first inning, it was the dropped third. That was on the other side of the ball. That ball's hit well, right center field. It's up there by Palumbo, going back and gone. A.J. Palumbo inserts himself into the home run lead in the Tri-County Baseball League. That's his 3rd of the season. Crushes one out to right center here in the hitter-friendly Runnymede Babe Ruth, and the Grizzlies extend their lead to 3-0. Couldn't tell real quick until we got the umpire's signal. It's his 3rd long ball of the year, and A.J. Palumbo will be followed up by the next man with 2 home runs this year, Zach Morales out of Holy Family, who has hit several home runs on our watch, but either way, got a 3-0 ball game.
Well, that ball was crushed by Palumbo out to right center field, and as you talked about, it's tough to see with the fence, but the center fielder's reaction, he just looked up and had no play.
Well, we saw Morales last year when we were at Patty Boker Field in Tabernacle, deep in the Pine Barrens. He had a ball 421 feet out into the deepest part of the woods at Patty Boker Field. See what he can do here. The 0-1. That one's fouled back. And the ball got stuck in the fence.
But now the Grizzlies back on the board after they scored to take the lead in the first, and 2 more on the long ball by Palumbo, and their pitching and defense has been excellent so far. If they can keep that up, looks like it'll be a win.
Outside, and that'll be much needed for the Grizzlies. Again, if they win tonight, they're a 1.5 out of the North lead. Now, a loss still gives you a half point. So for what it's worth, I apologize. They're 1 point back at 13.5. Roughriders at 14.5. A win would give them the first place outright. Base hit in the right for Morales. So 2-out single followed the 2-run home run.
Well, Morales with a really good swing right there. He was down in the count, a ball and 2 strikes, but he sees it deep. He keeps his hands all the way back in the zone, takes it the other way, and hits it on the ground. And I think McKenna might have had a play, but the outfield grass eats that ball up out in shallow right field where he's not going to have the opportunity to make a spinning and throw over to first base. So Morales gets on with the 2-out knock and tries to keep the rally going here for the Grizzlies as they're trying to extend their lead and have an inning here in the bottom of the third.
Yeah, you're not going to find a lot of hard hit balls that roll on the outfield grass like that. If the ball drops, it drops. It's almost like 1800s baseball all over again. But Cody Brown is the batter. Got a runner on first, 2 away. Brown tapped out to the pitcher his first time. Fastball at the chin. Misses upstairs 1-0. 1-0. Swing and a miss. Brown will be followed by Ambrosius. The line for the Grizzlies so far tonight, they've got 4 hits and 3 runs scored and 1 error in the field. As they have a 3-0 lead with Palumbo's 2-run shot. Brown hits this one to straightaway center field. Daly will be there, and the inning is over. So A.J. Palumbo gives the Grizzlies a little extra padding with a home run out to right center field into the shrubbery of Runnymede. And now 2 kiddos are out there looking to search for the baseball while getting over or under 3.5 mosquito bites. We're through 3. 3-0 Grizzlies.
Jack Mostero, 2 for 3 with a strikeout, a double, and a single. Looking to play hero. He's going to line this one into right center field, and that's going to drop. That's going to do it if they don't get a throw down. Mostero's going to second, and Danza's coming home. Sectional champions, Gloucester Catholic. They do it in a walk-off fashion as GC with Mostero playing hero. An unbelievable
Top of the 4th inning, Evan Carbone leads us off in a lefty-lefty teammate versus teammate matchup. Carbone taps this one down the first base line. Brown has it, and Carbone gives himself up for the first out.
And a slow little chopper like that on this field is certainly tough to handle over there at first base, but Brown scoops it up, and you never know, as somebody that's played on this field a lot, you never know which way the ball is going to ricochet because of the high grass and the hard dirt, but no problem for Brown there, and he makes the tag for out number 1.
Now here's Otero. First pitch, swing and a miss. Zipping fastball there from Robeson. Remind me when you played on this field. You did a couple of rec games.
I think I would have been 14, maybe 15 years old with the South Jersey Rams, and this was our home field, I think, for a season during the spring and summer. So this is a field that I called home for, you know, a good portion of my playing career.
Well, this field is, first of all, the fences all the way around are 15 feet tall, and there would be a reason why. It's only 285 feet to left field. That's it. It doesn't seem like it on the ground, but here's a fly ball out to right field. It's hit well. Going back and making the catch will be the right fielder, being Morales. So 2 up, 2 down. Pretty easy frame so far for Robeson. But it's 285 to left. It's only 315 out into the left center gap to where that there's a opening door that during our first game here in Runnymede was actually left open. So Zach Morales hit a ground rule double through the doors in left center field. Deepest part of the park in center is only about 320. There's a little bit of a 330 alley out in right center, but then it goes right back to 310 down the right field line. But this park is tiny for what it's worth. Blooped in the left. That will get past the 5-6 slot. Nice little cue shot to get a base hit out in left for Trinovsky. And now the batter will be Panvini with 2 away. Rough Riders with a runner on. And as you were talking about, Jake, one of the things that has really stunted the Rough Riders tonight was just getting the offense going. They got 2 runners on in the first, and then they got 2 more runners on in the second, but it was broken up by a double play. Then they had the side struck out in the third. That's not an easy pill to swallow when you are the team that gets struck out 3 times in a row. He's got, 5 Ks tonight. Again, it's not going to be easy for these guys to get runs, but once you get one, those dominoes start to fall a little bit quicker.
Yeah, just even one hit might start the snowball effect for this Rough Riders team.
And when skips away, on the rebound, runner goes down to second. We've got a runner in scoring position here off of Robeson.
And that's exactly now what you needed, the 2-out bloop single to shallow left field, and then a wild pitch right there. Now a hitter's count for the batter, 2-0, and a runner in scoring position, and still really anybody's ball game, not an insurmountable comeback. 3 runs seems doable.
2-0, fouled back. Especially with Welsher next, he drew a walk his first time, showed some really good plate discipline, but I'm more looking at those top 4 guys, Daly, McKenna, Joseph, and Carbone. When they can find a groove, if maybe 2 of the 4 can get on base, I think that the Rough Riders have a legitimate shot of, kind of advancing the ball a little bit more as they get into the later stages of this 7-inning affair. Here's the 2-1. Outside, 3-1 here. And again, this is a battle for first place. Whoever wins this game will be in first place. If the Rough Riders win, they extend their lead. If the Grizzlies win, they'll take over first place. But the Rough Riders have won 3 straight. The Grizzlies have lost 3 straight. And this could be a big tide turner for both teams. There's a swing and a miss. Count will run full here with 2 outs in the top of the 4th. Saw a little dribbler up the first base line to retire Carbone, and a lazy fly ball to right to retire Trinovsky. But now Panvini, who grounded into the double play in the 2nd inning, faces the payoff. And it's high. Patience pays off, and now back-to-back runners reach for the Rough Riders, with Welsher coming up now as the 8 slot. 2 outs, 2 on for the pitcher looking to help his own cause.
Hey, you almost took the words right out of my mouth. This is a big spot here for Welsher being the pitcher. Giving up a couple runs. He's pitched pretty well outside of the one mistake, the home run that was sent out to right center field by Palumbo. But now an RBI opportunity here to try and mount a comeback.
And a big swing from Welsher. He fouls it back. It's 0-1. This broadcast is brought to you by Rowan College of South Jersey and the Roadrunners Athletic Department. Winners on the field and winners in the classroom. Become a prospective athlete of the Roadrunners today by visiting their athletic website at rcroadrunners.com and join me and the Roadrunners in our pursuit of championships on the field and our pursuit of excellence in the classrooms. You can visit their website at rcsj.edu or rcroadrunners.com. You can also follow them on social media on X, Facebook, and Instagram at RC Roadrunners on all platforms. And also, if you'd like to become a sponsor of Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, we're offering advertising to any small business in South Jersey for affordable rates to bring your name in the advertising game in front of over 110,000 annual viewers on DWB. You can send us an email with an advertising inquiry as that ball is floated into right center field. It goes under the glove of Spraggins. Here comes the runner. He'll score. Throw in the 3rd. He is safe. It's an RBI single for Zach Welsher. An error will be tacked on to the center fielder, but it will still be a base hit as I think Spraggins was expecting that ball to bounce a little bit higher than it did. We talked about how dead the grass is, not the grass itself, but how dead the ball is after it bounces on the grass. So Spraggins, I think he did the muscle memory where you're used to playing on a certain kind of field, you're used to the ball bouncing a certain kind of way, and when it doesn't do that, went right under his glove, run scores. But how about Welsher helping his own cause?
Well, and all of this happening with 2 outs, Dan. You had the bloop single out to left field and then a walk, and now a run comes in from the pitcher, bringing in the first run of the game, trying to help his own cause and help out his teammates, as now it's a 3-1 ball game. Still in favor of the Grizzlies, but 2-out magic working here for the visiting Roughriders.
And this is still 6 down in the order. Trinovsky got it started with a little base hit over the middle, and then Panvini walked. Welsher got the RBI single, and now we're facing the 9-hitter, Julian Butler-Galliera, who struck out swinging his first time. He's got a 1-0 count and runners on the corners. Tying run 270 away. 270, 90 times 3 for those who don't want to do the math.
And I think right now we're seeing the Roughriders put together really quality at-bats against Robeson. We saw a couple singles. We saw a walk. They're just waiting for their pitch.
Big swing that time by Galliera. That was a good fastball. Looked like it was right in his wheelhouse. For where his swing is, he stands up decently tall in the zone. His legs are a little bit spread, but the crouch is pretty minimal. So when he gets into it, that fastball was right where he wanted it, but just couldn't connect.
Well, what a good 2-0 swing. It's exactly what you're looking for in a hitter's count.
That one is up and away. Second base umpire is signaling the count to be 3-1. And indeed it is.
And again, another hitter's count here for JBG, somebody that, being the 9-hole hitter in this lineup, still a very talented player. And again, with 2 outs, hitting is contagious, and we've seen it in this inning. A pair of base hits brought in a run.
3-1 is called a strike, and now the count is full. Yeah, this is going to be a good at-bat no matter what, and you need something to strengthen up those hitters in the 7, 8, and 9 part of the order. And even if this inning doesn't continue, Daly, McKenna, and Joseph, those are 3 that I don't want to mess with if any momentum is carried over into the 5th. That's a swing and a miss. Galliera goes down on strikes for the second time. It's K number 6 for Daniel Robeson, and the side is retired. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Roughriders get a run back with a pitcher's self-help. Gets an RBI base hit over to right center. We'll be right back. Bottom of the 4th, Welsher. First pitch to Cole Ambrosius is a strike. 6, 7, and 8 for the Grizzlies in the bottom of the 4th. Ambrosius, Spraggins, and Taylor. That ball's laced out to right center, diving, and an incredible catch in center field by Shane Daly. The umpire affirms the call, and Shane Daly goes full extension in right center field for the first out of the fourth.
Well, Daly just took a base hit away, potentially extra bases, an excellent grab out in center field, and that's exactly what the Rough Riders need right now. They got some momentum, scoring their first run of the ball game in the top half of the fourth, and as that one is swung on and missed 0-1, but what a play by Daly to try and keep the momentum for the Rough Riders, and they need a quick inning here to try and get those hot bats back in the dugout.
We talked about momentum. There's a swing and a miss 0-2. Let's take a look at that replay presented by Garden State Pet Center, as this was a sinking line drive that he hit it well, and then right there makes a diving catch. Not exactly full extension, but still a great catch nonetheless. 0-2 is dribbled out to third and foul. Man, what a play right there. That's not easy in the grass, too. Wet grass, it's harder to run. Can't cover as much ground. Very, very impressive play.
Oh, and off the bat, you're thinking at least the single. If it gets by him, maybe a double. And Daly says you're going to go right back to the dugout after I make this great play. Just an excellent job in center field. And again, the Rough Riders need as much momentum as they can have.
As a hot shot hits off of Welsher's glove, or it went right under it. It's a base hit in the center field for Spraggins, who gets a one-out base hit after Ambrosius was denied in an at-bat earlier. And he's 2 for 2. Now brings up Sean Taylor. Aiden Davis is warming up in the pen, or whatever you want to call it, down the right field line. It's not a mound. It's not a plate. It's just two dudes warming up on the grass. It's Aiden Davis out there, though. Does beg the question who the Rough Riders have as their successor, depending on how long Welsher decides to stay in the game. Popped up, right side. And you can see he could have run over there, but it's discussed in the ground rules that is out of play, even though there's no physical barrier down there. I've seen a lot of fields that have that, like Audubon was like that. Jake, from playing there, that there are vast open spaces down the left and right field foul lines, left field more so, but the umpires and the coaches discuss in ground rules that there's a certain space that once you cross over it, even if you catch the ball, it's considered out of play.
Well, and the reason for that here at this field is because left field has the fence going all the way down the line, but right field there's no fence because of that Little League field over there.
Right.
So the fence, if there were to be one, would extend and make that actual physical barrier. So
right.
they play it as if there is something there, and that's why you see the infielders all kind of stop and not go make the play.
Yeah, it's kind of like an imaginary line.
I think that is probably the best way to describe it.
Right. If you could, even Audubon does that with their foul lines. They have the foul line, foul and fair, but then they also have the second line that runs through, which is basically the fans have to sit behind that line if they're, propped up in lawn chairs or whatnot. But either way, 1-2 count. Taylor fouls it back, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, you'll see a couple fields around the area. They'll have that first line, as you talk about, that is the actual fair foul line for the field of play. But then you also have what's deemed out of play and between foul territory and out of play, where players can go make that. And more importantly, for the fans to not be in the field of play, causing a distraction.
Strike 3 is called. They back pick, and it's not in time. Taylor, the recent commit to Southern New Hampshire University, strikes out looking. Fastball just beneath the letters. He announced his commitment to Southern New Hampshire just a few weeks ago, or actually just a few days ago on his Instagram. Taylor strikes out for the second time tonight. It's the third batter rung up by Zach Welsher. Oh, wow. How about that for a little bit of an awkward swing? He hit it, and the ball basically spun backwards off the bat. It's a 4-3 grounder, and Cohen is retired to end the inning. I would say that the momentum is in the Rough Riders' hands. They scored 1 run, and they only gave up 1 base hit with an electric play in right center field by Shane Daly. It's 3-1 going to the top of the 5th. Top of the 5th inning, Robeson still in. Shane Daly is the batter. We talked about this scenario at the end of the last inning, but it's a 3-1 game. Not an easy... Oh, here we go. That ball is crushed center field, and Shane Daly has left the building. He made a diving catch in the bottom half of the 4th, and on the first pitch he sees in the 5th, rockets a home run to center field out towards the youth field just beyond the fence, and the McDaniel product goes deep as he meets his McDaniel teammate Shea McKenna at the plate. It's 3-2. That was rocketed,
and it's
out to center field.
It's the stereotypical thing that you hear the third time through the order is where pitchers really struggle, and on the first pitch, the third time through the order, a high fastball, and Daly got all of it.
Oh, that ball is crushed. Did you just speak that into existence? It's off the bottom of the wall. This will be picked up and left by Palumbo. Getting in there, it's a double for Shea McKenna. The bag came off of its it kind of came off of its grounding there at second base, but it's a double. And Aiden Davis may be coming into this game sooner rather than later. I'm not sure. I mean, Robeson's had a great night tonight, 6 Ks. But McKenna with a double. And a first pitch, that was also the first pitch. So 2 pitches, 2 extra base hits, a long ball and half a long ball, give us Ryan Joseph with the tying run in scoring position. We weren't sure how long it would take for the Rough Riders to get the spark, but they have been sparked like a 4th of July firework. Got the first pitch. Oh, that one's fouled back. That went through the netting, and that went through the chain link fence and hit the press box. I didn't know you could do that.
It must be a hole somewhere in the fence, and Ryan Joseph managed to find it with that foul ball. You heard the thud from the concrete right behind us.
Yeah, that's got to count for something.
But
like multi-ball in the AC/DC pinball machine. 1-1.
But the leadoff man goes yard. The 2-hole hitter hits a double. Now you've got the heart of the order coming out after gaining some momentum, and nobody gone here in the top of the 5th.
There's a ground ball right side. This will be picked up by Viola. It'll move the runner to third. He is out at first. It's a tough play. Joseph was on his tail getting down to first base. He rocketed out of the box. It does move McKenna to third, but a close play is the first out. Joseph, the 3-hitter, now 0 for 3 tonight. And now Carbone will be the batter facing Robeson. Again, Aiden Davis, the right-hander. was warming up earlier. He's not in the starting lineup tonight, so Grizzlies, led by PVI assistant coach Nick Gruber, have a little bit extra to work with. One skipped away from Fichetti, was able to reel it in, and it's 1-0. Two more Tri-County games on the docket this week. We travel down to Vineland in Cumberland County tomorrow night for a matchup in the South Division between Cherry Hill Pittman and the Gartons of Vineland. And then on Thursday, we're back at home. The Roughriders will be, oh, hold on here. This is going to be a ground ball. Taylor's going to throw home. They caught him, and how about that for a deke? The runner probably wasn't even intending to go home, but McKenna faked out the youngster Taylor, and now it's going to be, that technically is going to count as a 6-2 fielder's choice, even though no out was recorded. That will not be a base hit. I don't know if the game changer will score it that way, but either way, that should be a 6-2 fielder's choice. It puts the runners on the corners, and Otero is the batter, tying run on. Go ahead, run on first in Carbone.
Well, they tried to get McKenna, because the infield was in, to get that run at the plate to not have him tie the game. But Shea McKenna, alert on the base paths and uses his speed to get back to third base. By the time that happened, they had no play over at first. So runners on the corners after the fielder's choice, but no out recorded.
This one is popped up. It's up there. And it'll go out of play. It'll bank off the street. And it'll land into the parking lot behind home plate at the Runnymede Community Center. It's 1-1 to count to Otero. He's 0 for 2. Popped out to first to end the first inning. And then flew out to right as a part of the top of the fourth. Two quick outs for the Rough Riders in the top half of the fourth. Now the runner's going. This could be a high school steal and score. Let's see what they've got. McKenna's waiting to break. They've got the pickoff move. Here comes the runner. Throw to the plate is not in time. Game tied. Shea McKenna comes in from third, and the classic move we've seen time and time again. The runner broke from first. The runner from third followed, and the game is tied 3-3.
Excellent execution there by the Rough Riders. As the runner from first breaks, he gets himself caught in the rundown, and that allows for McKenna to kind of just slowly inch his way up the line until he breaks for the plate. A bang-bang play, but he's called safe, and from our angle, it looked like the right call, as now the runner leads off of second. Still only one gone, and the Rough Riders are right back in this game. It's tied at 3.
And the 1-1 here from Robeson, still in this game with the tie game on the line. Go-ahead run now at second base in Evan Carbone, who advances after reaching on the fielder's choice. And again, I've seen that move so many times in high school, I can almost call it out before it even happens. That's how often we see it. But it seems like it's one of the most effective plays. It almost never works in the big leagues. It almost never works in the minor leagues. Jake, I don't know if you've seen it with the Blue Rocks. I don't know if any of those teams have tried it. But this is something that at the high school and college levels we see so many times, and it's just so effective to a point. And then once they figure it out, it's gone. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. That is the 7th strikeout for Danny Robeson tonight. 5 of them have been swinging. And now the batter is Trinovsky, who started the 2-out rally for the Rough Riders in the top of the 4th. Got a base hit. Panvini walked, and then Welsher drove in, said Trinovsky, with an RBI single, and followed by an E8. It was 3 straight batters in a row who got on, but it was enough to drive home 1 run, and then sparked this rally here in the 5th off of Robeson. One fouled back, 0-1.
And I mean, it was interesting. We talked about it, how this Rough Riders team, they managed to manufacture a run from the bottom of the order to kind of get the ball rolling. But it was really going to be interesting to see what the top 4 hitters in this lineup would do. And you saw the top 2 get off to a red-hot start. The home run from Daly, McKenna follows it up with a double. And now just like that, the game is tied at 3 after McKenna scored on that steal and score.
That ball's fouled back. Carbone broke for third, but he'll have to retreat. A little bit surprised they're not running a courtesy runner with 2 strikes and 2 outs. They're having Carbone run out there, but he's taking his time.
Well, and looked like Carbone pretty much had third base stolen. He had a great jump, but the foul ball sends him back. Not sure if that was a designed hit and run to try and protect him going to third base, or hitter just liked the pitch he saw and was a little off time with it. But regardless, now 0-2.
We got the 0-2 here to Tronovsky. Robeson delivers outside. Well, we were talking about when that ground ball to short was hit off the bat of Carbone, I had a feeling that McKenna wasn't even intending to break for home. He was just kind of egging Taylor on to where if he could find a gap to get him to throw home and enough cushion for him to duck back to third, that's exactly what he did. And then Carbone got on. It was a really, really nice play. And it directly resulted in that tying run scoring. Carbone went to jump. He took a step towards third and then ended up retreating.
And that's where that short backstop kind of comes into the favor of the defensive team. If you're playing with a deeper backstop, you're not going to be able to have that luxury of keeping the runners at bay, but a nice ricochet goes right back to the catcher, and Carbone pumps the brakes.
That one's fouled back 2-2. Some droplets coming down here in Runnymede. It's been on and off today. I think it rained relatively, I don't know what the word is, right around middle of the road. Wasn't a hard rain, wasn't a light rain, moderate rain, whatever.
Some would say steady.
Yeah, steady. It was raining for about an hour, and then it stopped. We showed up, it started raining again. We put our rain gear away, it started raining again. It's been on and off today, and it's probably going to be on and off for the next few days. Just looking at our forecast. Oh my gosh, it is literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 of the next 8 days are scheduled for at least 30% of rain. Welcome to the Tri-County League. Mother Nature does not like us. Here's the 2-2. Ground ball hit sharply. Taylor gets there, picks it up on the glove side, throw to first. Brown and a collision. Tronovsky gets down, takes a little while to get up. There was a hard collision. Brown, it looked like, was trying to get out of the way. And Jake Grice, who is out on an injury, on a lengthy injury, he ends up helping his teammate to his feet, and the inning is over. Zach Welsher checks on him, and he seems to be okay, maybe just a little bit rocked. As we go to the bottom of the fifth, we're back at square one, folks. We're tied 3-3. Bottom of the fifth, it is still a starting pitcher's game as Fichetti takes a pitch inside 1-0. Welsher and Robeson, the two starting pitchers in today's contest. still rolling. The Roughriders have finally gotten a right-hander ready, and by that I mean he literally just popped out of the dugout and is now throwing. Can't tell who that is with or without a jersey number, but we'll find out one way or another. Here's the 2-0. That is the nice part about being behind home plate. I know that a lot of people ask me sometimes, why do I set up in the outfield? Not necessarily as a jab or anything, but just as a question of why do we do what we do? Well, I like setting up in the outfield because it's a better view of the field. You can get a lot more questions answered that way. However, you can get a lot more questions answered when you're behind the plate, and if you're not sure of something, you can ask either dugout. We had that pop up in a game between Buna and Gateway in late March this year. Jake, you were with me for the first game. You called play-by-play for the Woodstown Gateway game. But the game after that was at the Westville Bowl, right off of Route 45. Going to have a pinch runner at first. It's going to be number 4 for the Grizzlies, which I believe would be, it's not Templeton, it's Johnny Gardner at first base. So Gardner running for Facchetti as the catcher. Took a easy free pass that time. It's Welsher's 3rd walk allowed. But I digress. What I was saying was, when we were doing this Buna Gateway game, there were several times as Buna got deeper and deeper into the lead in a game that they eventually won by 17 runs. Gateway put in some JV players that weren't on the roster because JV wasn't playing that day. So it was an unusual it was an unusual day to begin with. Because, Jake, if you remember, the first game that we did was, first of all, unprecedented for a high school baseball team to play twice in one day anyway. But they played 2 home games at 2 different locations because the first game had to be at Gateway and the second game couldn't be there because they were doing the spring play that night. So they needed the parking space, and they had to move the second game, which was originally at Gateway High School, to the Westville Bowl, maybe 5 minutes up the road.
And, I mean, the reason that they had 2 games in one day was because of the school senior trip, which was happening soon.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
because of the earlier start date, they had to try and get some of those games in to just catch up to speed, or else they would have had no games under their belt within the first week or 2 of the season. And that's certainly not the way that Gateway would have wanted to start. But certainly an interesting start to the DWB high school season. It was nice to be a part of it for at least the first game, which was Gateway Woodstown.
Oh, we saw some great games in the first week of the year. Millville-Pittman. Millville had a great performance. Brady Middlecoff had a great day. Mapleshade Bordentown saw our first walk-off of the season. There's a swing and a miss. It'll be strike 3. The batter should be out because of the runner on first, and he is. I don't think he realized it at first, but because of the runner on first being occupied, any dropped third strike is automatically called dead. That would only be different if it was 2 outs in the inning, and therefore any play would be live. But in that case, it is a strikeout for Templeton. The batter will now be Viola, hitting in the 2 spot. Again, with Welsher still on the hill, go-ahead run is at second base. And again, some light droplets coming down as we approach the 8 o'clock hour. We're at 7:45 right now. Probably have about 45 minutes of sunlight left since we are past the summer equinox. Well, the last time that we had a game here, it was called due to darkness after 5 innings, even when they start at 6 o'clock. Just depends on the pace of play. There's some fields that start at 6 if they don't have lights. Washington Township, the Senators, their home field, Washington Township High School, doesn't have lights. They played at Williamstown High School last year, which did not have any lights either. And then on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, there's a ground ball out to second base. Picked up, throw to first is in time. It does move the runner 90 feet over. And the pinch runner which again is Gardner, running for Fichetti. He's now 90 feet away from scoring with 2 outs here, but Palumbo will need a base hit with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Well, and Palumbo coming up, one of the better hitters in this Grizzlies lineup, already left the yard here today. If he can come through with a base hit, he'll be able to take the lead for the home Grizzlies, and that would be big late into this game here in the bottom of the 5th.
Not only late into the game, but late into the season. These two teams have been in very different spots as Palumbo hits it out to left. Could this sink? It does! It gets past the left fielder, Butler Galliera. Palumbo will park it at second base. It is going to be an RBI double, and Palumbo has now 3 RBIs. The 2-run home run in the 3rd, now an RBI double in the bottom of the 5th, and the Grizzlies, who are looking to snap a 3-game skid, they lead it 4-3.
Well, Palumbo's having himself a day, has the home run, and then comes through with a go-ahead RBI double with 2 outs. A big swing and a big spot into this game there for Palumbo, as now the Grizzlies take the lead in the bottom of the 5th.
And here's Morales, who has the other RBI for the Grizzlies today, had a sacrifice fly to left center in the 1st. The Roughriders pitcher that was warming up has gone back to the bullpen, or back to the dugout. Probably signaling that this is either Welsher's last batter or his last inning, because he does have a 1/3 of an inning to go. If he can complete 5, don't have to make another pitching change, and now you're kind of in a race against the clock. I mean, we've seen a lot of Tri-County games this year that have been under that umbrella of racing against the clock, and we do get time called. So 2-0 count in a 4-3 Grizzlies lead. Again, the Roughriders manager coming out. It was formerly Thomas Gasse, but again, taking over the position this season was the new fella, Noah Clement. But either way, though, this game will decide first place for now in the Tri-County North Division. We'll go over the standings for it real quick. We don't have a graphic for it, but the Tri-County North standings, Roughriders at 6-3-1. They're at 14.5 points. CHBR is a half point behind at 6-4. The Grizzlies are at 5-5-1, and they've lost 3 straight. They're at 13.5 points. A point behind them is the Burlington Township Pirates, who are at 4-9. But they're at 12.5 points, and then Camden 4-3-2 at 11.5, Pine Barrens at 4-7 at 10.5. So every team in the North and every team but one in the South is over 10 points. The only one that isn't through 12 games is the Blackwood Bears, who are at 1-10-1. But you got to remember, even though a loss is a half point, you get 0 points for a forfeit, which I believe has happened once or twice for Blackwood this year. One of the newest franchises in Tri-County. A couple of franchises closed and consolidated over the offseason, eliminating the Rancocas Valley division. It used to be 3 divisions, North, Central, and South. But then with the Cinnamons and Reds closed, they were replaced by the Cinnamons and Crew, which is led by former Cinnamons and Pirate Ryan Horner, who's currently at Gwinnett Mercy. Again, the other new team is the Blackwood Bears. They are basically the follow-up to the Sewell Wolves. One's outside. Ball 4. So Brown will be the batter. An RBI double by Palumbo, and then Morales walking sets up a precarious situation. You've got 2 runners on and 2 away with Cody Brown coming up. As some folks exiting the Runnymede Community Center. That was a basketball game that we were hearing, Jake, because we were talking about during the break, we heard a buzzer sounding, and I'm like, it's July, it's not the winter yet. It must have been a youth basketball game going on in there. Down. Welsher disagrees. It's 1-0.
And you hate to say it, but right now time is sort of the essence, and the Roughriders need an out so they can at least get back into the dugout and try and scratch across another run to potentially force a tie. But
well, this might not help. It's out to left center field. Brown gets it down. Here comes Palumbo. He'll come in to score. On his horse is Morales, parking it at second. The throw gets away, and it's cut off by Otero. It's a 2-run double for Cody Brown. who slices it into the left center field gap, and the Grizzlies extend their lead to 3. It's the Rough Riders 3 and the Grizzlies 6, and now the Rough Riders manager will come out for his second visit, and that will be the end of the day for the 2012 Audubon grad, Zach Welsher. So we do have a new arm coming in. His jersey number is number 49, which he's not too happy with himself there. Cole Bauman, I believe, is the new pitcher. We'll get that confirmed with the dugout. But 2 outs, bottom of the 5th, and a race against the clock here at Runnymede Babe Ruth. We'll be right back. Two outs. 6-3 is the score. Cole Bauman is the new pitcher. First pitch is outside to Ambrosius. So Bauman replacing Zach Welsher after 4 2/3. The nail in the coffin was a walk to Morales, which was, check that, a 2-run double by Cody Brown. Rough Riders and Grizzlies came into this inning tied, but the Grizzlies have jumped out to a 3-run frame. I'm sure the Grizzlies like when Dan Wilkins Broadcasting comes to town, because if they win tonight, they'll be 3-0. Actually, no, 4-0, including the Pine Barrens game from 2024 when DWB shows up. But, yeah, this has been an interesting inning. We had a walk by Facchetti, got down to third. Then there was 2 quick outs. Templeton and Viola both went down, and Palumbo drove in 1. Morales got the runner over, and then Brown got 2 more home. Oh, that was a ballerina swing that time. Went a full 360 as Bauman gets the strikeout. Rough Riders have work to do. They came in tied. They end the inning down 3. Through 5 at 6-3, SJG. It's the top of the 6th inning. Aiden Davis is the new pitcher, as we've got a 6-3 ball game. And in fact, not only do we have a new pitcher, we have a new catcher in the game as well. It's number 4, Johnny Gardner. So even though he could have just been a courtesy runner for Facchetti, he stays in the game in the same position as the catcher. It's 1-0.
Well, I'm not sure about the rules for Tri-County, but typically courtesies come in with 2 outs. Gardner came in with none,
True.
Which meant that the substitution was being made defensively and offensively. So he stays in the game now behind the dish.
Aiden Davis, the right-hander out of King's College. That one is hit well into left field. That one is back, and that ball is gone. It hit off of the shed in left field, and the 7-hitter, Vincent Panvini, leaves the yard to put this game back within reach. The 3rd home run combined between these two clubs tonight. The Roughriders have one, or now they have 2, and the Grizzlies have one tonight as well. It is 6-4.
Well, a huge swing right there, and the Roughriders trying to claw their way back into this game. That's certainly the right way to start it. And how about that? A good way to greet the new arm from the bullpen with a solo shot for his first batter faced.
That'll be his first earned run of the season as well. He went 8 2/3 without any. 1 walk, 11 Ks, a flat 0 ERA, and a 235 on base against with a 1.04 whip. Not to mention 3 for 4 in his small sample size at the plate this season. 1-0 to Welsher. Big swing and a miss. Chased the changeup down low. It's 1-1. Welsher helped his own cause with an RBI single in the top of the 4th inning. Kind of the culmination of what we saw with that 2-out rally by the Roughriders to get them on the board. They were down 3-0 at one point, if you remember. They led off the ballgame with a 1-0 deficit with a Zach Morales sac fly. And they extended the lead on a 2-run home run by A.J. Palumbo. Welsher got the first run back, and then Daly made it 3-2 on a solo shot to center field. And then they got the 3rd run home on a steal and score. Counts 3-1. And then Grizzlies got 3 runs back, including a 2-run double by Cody Brown. That'll be ball 4. Welsher 3 times reached on base today. 2 walks and a RBI single to his name.
And this is what the Roughriders needed, a solo shot to get the juices flowing again, the spark lit, and now Welsher drawing a walk. They just need base runners, and a couple of timely hits will bring them in, as we saw for their first run of the game. We'll have to see if they can recreate that, and the top of the order due up in just a couple of moments.
Strike called by Butler Galliera. It's 0-1. He's 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts swinging tonight. Roughriders trailing 6-4. Again, a win for the Grizzlies would snap not only a 3-game losing streak, but would also get, as Welsher's on the break for second, Gardner couldn't get a throw down, decided to eat it, and it's 1-1. So it does put Welsher in scoring position, but a win by the Grizzlies would directly put them in the lead in the North Division. The only other way that they would not have the lead is if CHBR wins tonight. They are up against the Pine Barrens, which are at the bottom of the North Division. So that ball gets away. Brown couldn't hang on to it. Galliera makes the turn, and he'll get back to first safely. So Welsher is actually going to hold at second, but that's going to be an error on the throw. And now Daly will be the batter, as Julian Butler Galliera is the tying run. And now Shane Daly, going back to the top of the order, who homered in his last at bat, now has a chance to really change things up here.
And that mound visit, smart for 2 reasons. One, because of the throwing error, it's out of your control, and the pitcher still looking for his first out of the ball game after the solo home run, the walk, and then the throwing error, but also because time is of the essence here. It's really important. The clock is ticking.
You can
with
see
the
it's a
sun,
little bit darker out
yeah,
here.
with the sun starting to go down, the more time that the Grizzlies can waste while they still have the lead, the better. And with the way the pitcher is struggling right now and the momentum is sliding to the Roughriders, again, the more time they can waste, the more it helps their own cause.
Here's the 0-1. There's a ground ball, third base side. It skips into left field. Welsher is going to be on his horse. He gets held up at third, and for good reason. Look at that throw. That might have gotten a piece of him, of Gardner. So it's a base hit out of the top of the order for Daly. Gruber's coming out. He's going to talk to his man, Aiden Davis. And again, this is what I love about Summer League. Sometimes we see the coaches a lot of times we see the coaches in high school, full uniform. Not here, t-shirt and shorts. We run a little bit of a more casual schedule here. Bases loaded, nobody out. You're watching coverage of the Tri-County Baseball League on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. If you have any questions or comments about tonight's broadcast, drop us a line at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. We're also open to private and public bookings for the 2025 summer and fall. If you have a youth organization, a travel team, or anything else that could use a Dan Wilkins Broadcasting live stream, send us an email with what you'd like to get covered, when, where, and we'll talk logistics later through our email at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. We've got lots of open spaces through the months of July and August and even into September and October. We do have a pitching change for the Grizzlies. We're striking about 8:05 tonight, as again the new right-hander is number 33, AJ Palumbo. So he moves from third base to the hill, and in a classic Group 1 move, let's see where everybody else shifts around on the diamond. It looks like the new third baseman will be number 22, Ryan Nace, another PVI grad. We'll be right back as Palumbo warms up with the bases loaded and the Roughriders looking to take advantage. Well, it's getting a little bit dark. That's when we adjust the settings on our cameras here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Looks good as new. Shea McKenna is the batter. AJ Palumbo is the pitcher. It is a 6-4 game in the top of the sixth inning. Now, what's important to know here is that in the case of darkness, which has affected both of the Tri-County games that we've covered this year, it won't affect tomorrow because we'll be in Vineland at a field with lights. However, the Tri-County rule is that it reverts back to the last full inning. So even if, let's say he hits a grand slam right here, 8-6 game in favor of the Roughriders, even if he does that and they don't complete the sixth inning, game won't be complete. Or it will be complete, but it will revert to 6-4. That one's lined into center field. That's going to drop. Welsher scores. JBG could tie this game. Here comes the relay to the plate. It is safe. He got under the tag. 2-run single. It's an RBI single off the bat of Shea McKenna, who doubled in the top of the fifth inning, and now one inning later has tied the game 6-6. And I know that he didn't hit a grand slam like I thought he would, but a 2-run single is even better. He advanced to second on the relay, and now Ryan Joseph has a chance to give the Roughriders the lead here in the top of the 6th inning.
And hitting is contagious. The base is juiced for McKenna, and he comes through and ties the game. And now the heart of the order potentially due up, still with nobody gone here for the Roughriders. A dangerous spot for the Grizzlies.
This changes up everything. I mean, we thought that the Grizzlies maybe had this game locked up, but in Tri-County, you never know. Things can really take a hard turn quickly. And now Ryan Joseph batting with nobody out. 2 runs already across. 5 straight batters have reached base. Leadoff home run by Panvini. That was just the beginning of it. Welsher walked. Butler Galliera reached on an E6. Then a base hit by Daly to load the bases. And McKenna breaks it open. Gets a 2-run base hit. Advances to second. Now you've got an even more dire situation. Nobody out. 2 runners in scoring position and a tie game. And what does the scoreboard read? 666. You don't want the scoreboard to read that. That's it's ominous.
And the other thing is the darkness rule almost feels like a gift and a curse right now for the Roughriders, because they're playing here in the top of the 6th. They're playing great.
Oh, here we
baseball.
go. Here comes the runner to the plate. Does he get him this time? He does not. And the Roughriders have taken a 7-6 lead. As coming in from third on his horse is Shane Daly, an aggressive send with the short backstop. But on the relay, he got it in there, and Daly just gets ahead of the tag on a headfirst dive. The last play was close with Butler Galliera at the plate, and now Daly comes in, and the Roughriders, for the first time tonight, possess the lead at 7-6.
Well, aggressive is an understatement. That one really risky.
I mean, if the backstop had 5 more feet, I wouldn't even question it. Run comes in to score on the wild pitch. But we are this close to the field and this close to the action that, you hold your breath. We've got a full count. Palumbo to Joseph, the Rutgers-Camden product. That one hits him right in the tush. And he'll get over to first base here on a hit-by pitch. So that is now 6 straight batters to reach here in this one. And now you've got Carbone, who's reached base twice already. For what it's worth, he's 0 for 2. He has an error reached on in the first, a 3 unassisted in the fourth, and then a 6-2 fielder's choice as a part of that weird deke play that happened in the 5th inning. En route to the Roughriders tying the game. But a high-scoring affair in just the last inning and a half.
Well, the Roughriders have put up 4 this inning, looking to keep the bats rolling.
With nobody out, too. That one is low. Yeah, Gardner's had some good plays behind the plate after coming in for Facchetti here in the top of the 6th. Just some bang-bang plays at the plate.
And again, the darkness rule is interesting because all of this could be for nothing if they don't complete the 6th inning.
And there's still nobody out.
Still nobody out.
It's 8:10 right now. Again, the summer equinox was June 21st. Sunset today is 8:31. So this could really, really rock some things up. But this is the exact same rule that exists in high school ball and college ball. You see it sometimes in the SEC. Oh, my goodness. That ball actually almost went to the Black Horse Pike. So anyways, in the SEC, we see it sometimes because they have a conference rule to where any games on a Sunday cannot continue after 5 p.m. because of travel. A lot of times teams that are home on Sundays have to travel to their next destination, or the teams that are away have to travel. They don't want to play on Sunday nights. So the SEC has this rule where no full inning can begin after 5 p.m. And a lot of times, when do they start Sunday games? 1 or 2 p.m. So if games run long, especially in a 9-inning single edition game, it can definitely mess up some things. It might even be 4 o'clock. It might be 4 o'clock for the SEC, and then they start their home games at 12 or 1. There's a ground ball. Oh, that hit off the lip of the infield. That's at third. The runner scores. Now the throw gets away. Here comes Joseph. He will score. And sunlight is fading fast. It's been overcast to begin with, but I felt like I lost some of my visibility in like the last 30 seconds. So it's now 8-6. 6 runs have scored. Or no, excuse me, 5 runs have come in the score in this inning. No, because it was, oh my goodness,
Yeah,
wow.
I'm trying to base it off of the
I'm trying
scoreboard.
to wrap my head around all
but
this
that
right
was
now.
a
It's
crazy
9-6.
play by Joseph to just keep rounding the bases and put the pressure on the defense, and then he comes across the score after the bad throw.
So Carbone is out at first. That's going to be a 5-3. If you saw it, there's a little bit of a divot right over home plate, right on top of the mound. Nick Gruber's coming out. I think that they might be done.
Well, and the home plate umpire was just, I think, a little bit shaken up. It was a swing and a miss. I'm not sure
Did it hit him?
if the batter got a piece of it, but it certainly got the home plate umpire's mask. And now there's got to be an interesting conversation to be had between the skippers of these two clubs. And
It's almost like a while we're at it conversation. They're calling them in. They're calling them in. The 6 runs that the Roughriders have scored will be for naught. The Grizzlies are being pulled off the field. The umpires have called the game, and the Grizzlies have won the game 6-3. The Roughriders won't be too pleased with it.
I don't think anybody's really happy because Palumbo was out on the mound kind of throwing his hands up. Everybody still wants to kind of keep playing,
Yeah,
but I mean, if you're the Grizzlies,
I'm having trouble seeing, and I'm not even on the field. So Julio, the home plate umpire, he was just talking to the Roughriders manager. He was saying, let's listen in real quick. So they will shake hands, but this game will not end up being a tough pill. It'll be a tough pill to swallow, but it's what we said. Because the Roughriders scored 6 runs, but this was the scenario that we were worried about. The sunset is set for about 8:30 tonight, and again, even I'm having trouble seeing out here. This field doesn't have lights, and this was the nightmare scenario that we had talked about. It was discussed earlier when I'll just backtrack a little bit. We had a game between Pine Barrens and Washington Township where the Pine Barrens scored 3 runs in the top of the 6th inning, and the game was called due to darkness. Now, only 2 of those runs counted, so the game ended 11-3. But that didn't end up making a difference. This now means that because the inning couldn't be completed, all 6 of the Roughriders runs will not count, and the final score is now 6-3 Grizzlies. It would have been 9-6. And like I said, considering the response, the response of obviously deep frustration from Noah Clement, because not only does this game have a big say in the standings, but with 2 weeks left in the regular season, this could be the difference between the Grizzlies winning the division or not. They said that they might protest the game. So this could be a very, very interesting saga, as some of these players that may not be as invested or may not be as hurt from the loss, they shake hands and they will take a break. Jake, before we go get our player of the game, A.J. Palumbo, any thoughts?
well, it's certainly interesting to see here because, again, the argument that the Roughriders are making where, well, we're seeing the ball just fine. We scored 6 runs in the inning, and it's really interesting to see here how this plays out because, again, they score 6 runs. They only have 1 player out in the inning.
Right.
If there's lights, it seems like they're going to clearly win the ball game or at least tack on a few, and then the Grizzlies have to come from behind. But now it's all for naught. Those 6 runs that they just scored are
all of them don't count
for nothing, and it's honestly a shame. But I hate to say it, but rules are unfortunately rules. I'm not sure they'll try and protest it, and it's a big game, but it's only the regular season, and I'm not sure how the playoffs and seeding works out, but it's unfortunate for the Roughriders. You almost were kind of wondering, can we get out, and can we get ourselves out and then get back on the field?
We have the lead. Let's just give ourselves up and complete this inning.
Which is something that you never really want to do as a team, but to try and just get the inning finished, to go out and have a quick inning. So it finishes. Now the scoreboard reads 6-3, which is the actual final score of the game here physically on our scoreboard. Still 9-6. But
this is one of the weirdest baseball games I have ever covered, and this is definitely going to be some long conversations with the administration. But yeah, and you just heard Zach Welcher say it. My scoreboard reads right. They put 7 straight balls in play. Carbone was the first out of the inning, and they scored a grand total of 6 runs, which count for 0. This is going to be weird, but A.J. Palumbo is going to be our player of the game. The reason why? He has 3 of the 6 RBIs that the Grizzlies put on tonight. He had a 2-run home run in the 3rd and then an RBI double in the 5th. Now, his pitching, on the other hand, he did not have the cleanest pitching outing, but for him, it doesn't matter because the game is over. So we're going to be right back. We're going to grab A.J. Palumbo, and we are going to wrap our heads around what an oddball game this was. We'll be right back.
Two minutes remaining. 4 fouls on St. Joe's. 1 more and it's a bonus, which would greatly help Gloucester Catholic. The moving three good! It's a 1-point game just like that! This place is going nuts! And now a drive to the basket by Spross. He lays it up and lays it in! St. Joe's has 2 timeouts remaining. Gloucester Catholic still has 3. Here we go. Mascaro pulls up. He goes to 3! 6 points! Jack Mascaro has tied the game with 90 seconds remaining. How will the Wildcats respond with a miss of
doubleheader, reached first on an error in the first at-bat of Game 2. This one's lined into center field. Slider going over. He dives. Did he make the catch? Yes, he did. Ryan Slider makes the catch. Not on a slide, but instead on a dive. 2 away. Will lead it off for the Senators. Chase Rollins, the player manager for CHP, gets it started with a ball upstairs, and we are underway in Game 1. 1-0. That one is hit well out towards left, and it is gone off the top of the goalpost. Shane Adamski with a thunderous start to his playoff series. Second pitch of the game, a solo homer to left, and before I could even write the first name down in my scorecard, it's 1 zilch.
Well, the final score tonight is the Grizzlies 6 and the Roughriders 3. Could have been very different if the sun was on their side, but the sun was on the Grizzlies side tonight, as a very awkward darkness reverted win saved you guys from staying out of the win column. You break a 3-game losing streak, and the Grizzlies now retake lead for the first first place in the North. AJ, you went. Let's see here. You went 2 for 2, walk, home run, and a double. It was a good day for you out there at the plate. How'd you feel out there?
I mean, I felt good. Just playing my type of game. I don't know, but just show up, having 1 goal, and to bring everything on the field, and that's what I did.
I mean, the emotions are definitely a little bit different because of you got out there on the mound, and I understand entirely, but it doesn't count. And it shouldn't count against your individual stats either. So, we just act like that inning didn't exist. But just what a weird night it was. And for you guys going into this game, Rough Riders had 3 straight wins, Grizzlies had 3 straight losses, and the battle for the North was going to be a hard-fought one. But you guys got ahead early, got out to a 3-0 lead, and then you had the 2-run home run out to left center or out to right center field. So it's a little bit hard to tell, even with full daylight. The black fence out there, it's hard to tell. How long were you waiting to see if that ball got out of there?
I mean, I had 2 the other day. I mean, it kind of just felt the same, but you really got to get a hold of it. It might be a short field, but
it's a short field entirely.
But sometimes it's pretty hard to get one out here.
Yeah, I think the grass and the different scenery that we have around here kind of messes with it a little bit because it's only 285 to left, but it's 330 to the deepest part of the park in right center. So it's still a hitter's friendly ballpark. That's why Zach Morales and you hit so many of them here at Runnymede Babe Ruth. But now you guys have a tough week going ahead. Your next game is on Wednesday, and now that you're in first, it's not the way you heard your assistant coach say it. It's not the way that you want to win, but you got to win nonetheless.
Yeah.
How do you and your team feel going into Wednesday and for the rest of the regular season?
I mean, we just got to play our own baseball. Like we kind of lost it a couple of games ago, but slowly bringing it back, and we just got to do whatever we can to put everything on the field on Wednesday and other games coming forward.
Well, you guys got 2 weeks left. Thank you, AJ, very much. We'll have you sign at the bottom of the scorecard there. It's a little DWB tradition we do. I usually have a clipboard to make it a little bit more stable for you. But it's a rainy Monday night, and the Grizzlies give up 9 runs and win. The final score 6-3. There you go, AJ Palumbo. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you, too.
All right, that'll be all for us tonight here on DWB. What a weird game it was. This one will go down in the weird books, like Timber Creek Audubon from 2023. This one will go down in the weird section of Dan Wilkins Broadcasting history. The Rough Riders scored 6 runs in the top of the 6th, and none of it mattered. The Grizzlies win this one 6-3, and they retake the lead for first in the Tri-County North Division. The Rough Riders fall to 6-4-1. Meanwhile, the Grizzlies push above 500 at 6-5-1, going into their final 2 weeks of the regular season. We'll be back in action with the same crew, Jake and I, tomorrow at Vineland High School for coverage of Cherry Hill Pittman versus the Vineland Gardens at 7 p.m. from Vineland. That'll be all for us tonight from our entire crew, our social media coordinator, Haley Mejia, our graphics crew, Gavin Van Rel and Carson Rosso, my producer and color commentator for the evening, the wonderfully talented Jake Clark. I'm Dan Wilkins. We'll see you same time tomorrow, but in a different county, Cumberland County. It's Vineland at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. Have a good one, folks.